Comrades, journey with me through time to the pivotal Battle of Waterloo. A reckoning that forged my destiny. In the 19th century, alliances shifted, empires rose, and I left my mark. The world watched as history unfolded. My rise reverberated across continents, reshaping nations. My innovative tactics shattered norms, a symphony of audacity and intellect. From Italy's hills to Russia's plains, my campaigns were a dance of strategy. Swift, decisive moves were my signature. Waterloo was the crucible. The European theater brimmed with aspirations. The 100 Days marked my triumphant return, facing the 7th Coalition's unity against me. Destiny called as I marched toward Belgium. June 18, 1815, a date transcending time. Waterloo. My strategy aimed to break Wellington's forces before Prussian help arrived. Geography and Wellington's defenses posed challenges. The clash was a test of audacity and acumen. Marshal Ney played a pivotal role, though miscommunication clouded the day. The insignificant Hougoumont farmhouse held sway. Battles unfolded meticulously. Prussia's return reshuffled the narrative, yet their delay added complexity. The pinnacle moment. The Imperial Guard's collapse shattered my invincibility. Retreat and abdication followed, ending the Napoleonic era. Waterloo. A symbol of rise and fall, etched itself into history. Beyond the battlefield, its legacy echoed. A study in warfare's complexities and human spirit. Allow me to immerse you deeper into the realm of warfare, where innovation and strategic brilliance define the course of history. We stand at the precipice of Waterloo. A battleground that witnessed the convergence of military minds and tactics, a theater where my innovative strategies were put to the ultimate test. My approach was not bound by tradition, it was an art form, a symphony of tactics that sought to exploit the weaknesses of the enemy while leveraging the strengths of my own forces. Combined arms tactics were my hallmark. A fusion of infantry, cavalry, and artillery that struck fear into the hearts of adversaries. The synergy of these forces, each complementing the others, allowed me to seize the initiative and maintain battlefield flexibility. My formations were not static, they were adaptable, capable of responding to changing circumstances with swiftness and precision. Rapid movement was my ally, and speed was my weapon. I understood that surprise and unpredictability could turn the tide of battle. From the sun-kissed sands of Egypt to the snow-covered landscapes of Russia, my forces moved with an urgency that left opponents reeling. The maneuverability of my armies was not just a means of getting from point A to point B. It was a tactical advantage that kept adversaries off balance. The essence of my strategic genius lay in the art of deception. Previous successful campaigns, such as the brilliant Italian and Austrian campaigns, showcased my ability to mislead and outfox the enemy. The diversion of forces, feints, and false communications were all tools in my arsenal. I employed these strategies to create confusion and exploit openings that the enemy never saw coming. The concept of combined arms tactics was never more evident than in the Battle of Austerlitz. A masterpiece of strategy where I lured the Allies into a false sense of superiority. My decision to feign weakness along the Pratzen Heights drew them in, allowing me to unleash a devastating counterattack that shattered their formations. It was a symphony of tactics, a dance of maneuvers that culminated in a resounding victory. The Battle of Jena Auerstedt further exemplified my strategic prowess. By splitting my forces and engaging both the Prussians and the Saxons, I forced their separation, preventing them from joining forces. My lightning-fast cavalry movements encircled their forces, leaving them isolated and vulnerable to my devastating attacks. It was a strategic masterpiece that demonstrated the power of my tactics in action. Waterloo was the ultimate test of these strategies. A moment when my brilliance clashed with an alliance united against me. In the days leading up to the battle, as I contemplated the terrain and the enemy's disposition, I crafted a plan that aimed to exploit their weaknesses and deliver a decisive blow. It was a strategy rooted in audacity and my unshakable belief in my abilities. As the sun rose on the early 19th century, Europe stood at a crossroads. A landscape dotted with the ambitions of monarchs and the aspirations of nations. Amid this tumultuous backdrop, I emerged as a force that would shape the course of history. But it was the events leading up to the Battle of Waterloo that would put my destiny to the ultimate test. The 100 Days. The period from my return from exile on Elba to the Battle of Waterloo marked a whirlwind of audacity and determination. As news of my return spread, a storm of emotion swept across France. The populace, eager for my return, saw me as the embodiment of their aspirations for a resurgent nation. The 100 Days were marked by frenetic activity as I strove to rally support, reorganize my forces, and solidify my grip on power. Yet, beyond the borders of France, the 7th Coalition took shape. An alliance of powers determined to halt my ambitions. Britain, Prussia, Russia, and Austria united in a common cause, driven by the fear of my meteoric rise and the desire to restore a European balance of power. They recognized that my presence on the stage of Europe could not go unchallenged. The objectives of the 7th Coalition were clear. to confine my reach, contain my influence, and curb the threat I posed to their interests. For me, the 100 days were a race against time. A battle to consolidate my gains, rally my supporters, and marshal my forces. As the coalition marshaled their armies, I embarked on a journey to quell opposition and assert my authority. My march towards Belgium was both symbolic and strategic. Belgium, nestled at the heart of Europe, offered a strategic foothold for my campaign. But it wasn't just about territorial gains, it was about reshaping the balance of power and asserting my authority on a continent that watched with bated breath. The gathering allies, Britain, Prussia, and their allies, eyed my movements with apprehension. They recognized the stakes, knowing that the outcome of this confrontation could reshape the destiny of Europe. I advanced with confidence, convinced that my military acumen and the loyalty of my troops would carry the day. And so, the stage was set for the Battle of Waterloo. A battle that would define not only my legacy, but also the trajectory of Europe itself. The clash of armies, the strategies devised, and the twists of fate would culminate in a day of destiny, a day that would forever mark the annals of history. To fully understand the gravity of this momentous clash, we must examine the events leading up to that fateful day, where destinies collided and empires trembled. The stage was set with the initial dispositions and clashes on June 15 to 16, 1815. The anticipation was palpable as forces maneuvered and skirmishes erupted, a precursor to the ultimate showdown. At Quatre Bras, I engaged the Duke of Wellington's Anglo-Dutch forces, testing their defenses and probing for weaknesses. Simultaneously, at Ligny, I confronted the Prussian army under Blücher, engaging in fierce combat that showcased the intricacies of strategy and the ebb and flow of battle. The battles of Quatre Bras and Ligny offered glimpses of the brilliance that had characterized my previous campaigns. The tactical finesse and rapid movements that had earned me victories on other fields were on full display. But these were mere preludes, a prologue to the grand spectacle that awaited. A spectacle that would unfold on the undulating fields near the small Belgian village of Waterloo. The role of geography cannot be overstated in shaping the battlefield and its outcomes. The rolling hills, woods, and key landmarks would influence the tactics and strategies employed. Hougoumont, a seemingly insignificant farmhouse, would become a focal point of contention. Its significance lay not only in its physicality, but also in its psychological impact. June 18, 1815, the day of destiny, dawned, bringing with it a convergence of armies and ambitions. My strategy for the battle at Mont Saint-Jean was multifaceted. To deliver a decisive blow to Wellington's forces before the Prussian reinforcements could tip the scales. Wellington, a seasoned commander, adopted a defensive stance, positioning his troops to exploit the terrain's advantages. My plan hinged on Marshal Ney's aggressive tactics, intended to break the enemy's resolve and shatter their formations. The day of destiny arrived, casting a shadow over the field of Mont Saint-Jean. A shadow that would forever etch the name of Waterloo into the annals of history. It was June 18, 1815, a date that would mark the culmination of my ambitions, the pinnacle of my military prowess. As the sun ascended, it illuminated a battlefield that would witness the convergence of empires, the clash of destinies. As the day unfolded, the battle commenced with a ferocity that mirrored the determination of both sides. My forces surged forward, engaging the enemy with a relentless vigor that had marked my previous conquests. Marshal Ney, a steadfast lieutenant, played a pivotal role as he executed my vision on the battlefield. But miscommunication marred our efforts, leading to a series of costly mistakes. Hougoumont, nestled on the right of the battlefield, was no ordinary farmhouse. It held strategic importance as it provided a vantage point, allowing the enemy to observe and potentially exploit my movements. Recognizing its significance, I ordered a series of assaults to capture Hougoumont and gain the upper hand. However, these assaults were not meant to be decisive victories. They were calculated diversions, designed to tie down Wellington's forces and keep them away from the main thrust of my attack. The fighting around Hougoumont was fierce and unrelenting, as my troops clashed with the defenders in a bid to gain control. As the day wore on, the true cost of Hougoumont became apparent. The resources expended in capturing the farmhouse were substantial. Resources that I could ill afford to lose. The diversionary nature of these assaults meant that my troops were engaged in prolonged and costly combat, sapping their strength and morale. The impact of the Hougoumont diversion rippled through my forces. The casualties incurred and the drain on resources left my army weakened and less prepared for the critical moments that would follow. The assault on Hougoumont, though part of a larger strategy, had inadvertently played a significant role in shaping the battlefield dynamics. The diversion also carried psychological consequences. The inability to decisively capture Hougoumont eroded the morale of my troops. They had faced heavy casualties and exerted tremendous effort, only to find themselves locked in a stalemate. This setback contributed to an atmosphere of doubt and unease, which would come to play a role in the events that unfolded later in the battle. In the larger narrative of Waterloo, the blunder of Hougoumont stands as a poignant reminder of the complexities of strategy and the unintended consequences that can arise in the heat of battle. What was intended as a calculated diversion became a drain on resources, a demoralizing struggle, and a factor that would impact the overall course of the battle. So it was that Hougoumont, a seemingly innocuous farmhouse, became a symbol of the unpredictable nature of warfare. A stark lesson in the art of balancing short-term gains with long-term objectives. The blunder would be a part of Waterloo's legacy. A testament to the challenges and intricacies that commanders face on the battlefield, even amidst grand strategies and visionary pursuits. Let us turn our focus to a pivotal chapter in the saga of Waterloo. A chapter that heralded an unexpected twist in the narrative, shaping the course of that fateful day. It is the tale of the Prussian arrival. A turn of events that would test my resolve and strategic acumen in ways I had not foreseen. As the battle raged on, the unexpected return of the Prussian forces under the command of Marshal Blücher injected a new layer of complexity into the conflict. Blücher's decision to support Wellington at Waterloo marked a shift in the dynamics of the battlefield. The Prussian troops, once thought to be defeated and out of contention, now re-entered the fray, altering the balance of power. Blücher's choice to come to Wellington's aid was not merely a tactical decision, it was a statement of unity against a common adversary. The 7th Coalition, forged with the shared objective of halting my ambitions, found cohesion in their determination to thwart my designs. The Prussian return underscored the gravity of the situation. A battle that extended beyond national boundaries, reflecting the convergence of interests against a common foe. The Prussian forces, reinvigorated and determined, pressed forward to lend support to Wellington's beleaguered troops. Their arrival breathed new life into the Anglo-Dutch army, rekindling their morale and bolstering their resilience. The sudden resurgence of the Prussians was a testament to the unpredictability of warfare, where the tide of battle could shift with the arrival of reinforcements. However, the Prussian arrival was not without its challenges. Despite their renewed determination, logistical challenges and delays hampered their advance. The wheels of war turned slowly, and the Prussian forces were not able to join the battle as swiftly as they had hoped. This delay added an element of uncertainty to the unfolding drama, as the outcome remained in the balance until their decisive involvement. As the Prussian forces engaged in fierce combat alongside the Anglo-Dutch troops, their joint efforts began to sway the momentum of the battle. The collaboration between the two armies, once adversaries, now united by a common cause, became a force to be reckoned with. The Prussian artillery fire and infantry assaults on the French right flank dealt a significant blow to my forces, undermining my strategic position and testing my mettle. The Prussian arrival was a reminder that the theater of war is an ever-shifting landscape where fortunes can change in an instant. It underscored the importance of adaptability and the unforeseen factors that can shape the course of battles. The delay in the Prussian arrival and their subsequent impact on the battle's outcome highlight the delicate balance between timing and tactics in the theater of war. Let us delve into the heart of the matter. The collapse of the Imperial Guard, a pivotal chapter in the grand saga of Waterloo. As the sun cast long shadows on the battlefield, the fate of empires hung in the balance, and the very soul of my ambitions teetered on the precipice of destiny. The Imperial Guard, my stalwart defenders and embodiment of my military might, stood as an indomitable force. A force that had marched triumphantly across continents and had shattered the ranks of adversaries. Their reputation was a symbol of invincibility, a reflection of my prowess as a commander. It was they who stood as the final bastion of my hopes on that fateful day. Yet, as the Guard advanced with resolute determination, the battlefield that had been witness to my triumphs and strategies was now a theater of uncertainty. The ground had absorbed the blood, sweat, and aspirations of countless soldiers, both French and their foes. It was a battlefield shaped by geography and tactical ingenuity, a crucible where the fate of empires would be decided. As the Guard's advance bore down upon Wellington's disciplined defenses, the clash was nothing short of monumental. A contest that would reverberate through the ages. The echoes of cannon fire and the clashing of bayonets were accompanied by the palpable tension that hung in the air as history's gaze fixed itself upon that pivotal moment. Wellington's steadfastness was a testament to his strategic acumen and the unyielding resolve of his forces. The disciplined squares braced themselves, resolute in their determination to withstand the might of the Imperial Guard. With discipline born from experience and a defensive formation that stood as an immovable wall, the Anglo-Dutch forces held firm against the onslaught. The result was a turning point. An unforeseen twist of fate that would reshape the trajectory of the battle. The Guard's assault faltered, met by the unyielding discipline of Wellington's troops. The aura of invincibility that had surrounded the Imperial Guard cracked. A fracture in the foundation of my ambitions. It was a moment that shook the very core of my strategic vision, a stark reminder that even the mightiest of forces could be halted by skillful defense and indomitable will. The collapse of the Imperial Guard was not just a tactical setback, it was a blow to the morale of my forces, a chink in the armor of my reputation. The turning of the tide sowed the seeds of doubt and demoralization as the invincible image I had cultivated over years of triumphs crumbled in the face of resolute opposition. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the battlefield, the collapse of the Imperial Guard symbolized more than a military defeat. It marked a moment of reckoning. It was a moment that would eventually cascade into the abdication of my power and the end of an era. The battlefield of Waterloo, drenched in blood and history, became a canvas upon which the complexity of human ambition, strategy, and fate was painted in vivid strokes. The once unassailable force, the guard that had marched triumphantly across Europe, was repelled. A blow that shattered my aura of invincibility. The collapse of the Imperial Guard was more than a military defeat, it was the symbol of a dream unraveling. It signaled the unraveling of an empire built upon audacity and conquest. The Guard's retreat marked the beginning of the end. A precursor to the retreat that would follow, an ignominious retreat that would lead to my eventual abdication. The aftermath of the battle was bitter and inescapable. Waterloo had proven to be the crucible that consumed my dreams of dominion. The Guard's defeat was a stark reminder that even the mightiest of forces could be challenged and overcome. It was a humbling moment. One that forced me to confront the limitations of my ambition and the vulnerability of power. And so, as we conclude this epic journey through the annals of history, let us turn our gaze towards the enduring legacy and analysis of the Battle of Waterloo. A chapter that holds lessons and insights that transcend time itself. Waterloo is not a mere footnote in history, it is a lesson etched into the fabric of warfare. Its significance stretches far beyond the confines of that Belgian field, resonating through the ages as a testament to the ebb and flow of power, strategy, and destiny. The battle marked a turning point in the course of nations, where ambitions clashed and the tides of history shifted. From Waterloo, we glean invaluable lessons. Lessons that apply not just to the battlefields, but to the boardrooms, the halls of diplomacy, and the complexities of human decision-making. The battle showcased the interplay between strategy and circumstance, where meticulous planning could falter against unforeseen challenges. It highlighted the pivotal role of geography, turning undulating terrain into an unwitting ally or adversary. The legacy of Waterloo also illuminates the paradoxes of leadership and the unpredictability of human behavior. The staunch discipline of Wellington's forces, the audacious valor of my own troops, and the unforeseen twists of fate created a narrative that continues to captivate minds across the globe. It is a narrative that reminds us that leadership is more than strategy, it is the ability to adapt, to inspire, and to navigate the uncharted waters of uncertainty. The Battle of Waterloo, with its complexities and intricacies, has not only shaped the course of history, but also left an indelible mark on popular culture. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film. A testament to its enduring fascination. From Victor Hugo's Les Miserables to paintings that capture the clash of armies, the battle lives on in our collective imagination. As we reflect upon the Battle of Waterloo, we are reminded of the duality of human nature. The capacity for greatness and the potential for downfall. It is a reminder that power, no matter how mighty, is subject to the tides of time, to the forces of circumstance, and to the delicate interplay of decisions made by individuals, leaders, and nations. In conclusion, the Battle of Waterloo is a symbol of my rise and fall. A symbol that transcends me as an individual and embodies the triumphs and tribulations of the human spirit. It is a beacon that illuminates the complexities of war, the fragility of power, and the indomitable nature of the human will. Let us remember the lessons of Waterloo, that history is shaped not only by the grandeur of empires, but also by the decisions and actions of individuals who dare to shape their destinies.